Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So what we're doing today, like not too long ago, someone commented on one of my videos, like this user called Hi, this is just a girl, commented on one of my videos asking for a color pencil tutorial. So I am trying to change like that bad habit of promising things and not doing them, so I am doing this immediately. And yeah, that's what we're doing today. I decided to draw my OC Eon with color pencils because I feel like she has the prettiest colors out of, well, not really, but like she has really nice colors, and I thought it would be fun to just draw her with color pencils. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So to start things off, as always, I'm just starting with a sketch, and for any transparent medium, color pencils included, I like doing my sketches with color. Right now I'm using the Pilot Color Eno, like the lab that I'm using is a Pilot Color Eno in the color orange, which is my favorite. I love that color, and I'm just doing a sketch. And when I use color lad, I don't do like light sketch. I like just pressing as hard as I can because I know I can always erase. This is like very easy to erase art supply, so I don't worry too much. So right now I'm showing off the stars of this video, which are my color pencils. I own these two sets. Well, I own more than two sets, but today I'm just going to be using these two sets, which the first one that I show is this Britfuner. I don't know how to pronounce that brand name, but like these 80 colors. I don't think it's a normal set. It has kind of like poppy saturated colors in it, and not really any dark colors can be found in that set. And the second one that I showed is 120 set of color pencils, also from the same brand. They're like not very expensive, they're like very cheap actually. I don't think I spent more than $25. Yeah, like I didn't spend more than $25 on both sets, which is crazy for the quality that they have. So yeah, they're like very inexpensive and very good at what they do. That's why I bought so many of them. So to start things off, as always, I like just applying very light layers of the colors that I actually want to use. I like working slowly and building the colors very slowly and like going towards my goal. I don't like just rushing things because you usually make bad decisions when you do that. So yeah, I just apply very light colors like that yellow that you saw me applying, and then I'll block the shadows. My shadows, I like to block them either in blue or orange, but like I'll use both colors. I just will do it in a different order all the time, but like you'll see me applying orange to block the colors of this one, and then I'll just add blue on top because it creates this kind of like bluish grayish brown color that I really like applying on all of my drawings. I think this is kind of like a meme where I always say people to add blue to their shadows because it looks really nice. I really encourage people to try that out and see for themselves how good that is. As you can see, like I'm pulling increasingly darker versions of the colors with color pencils all the time and just building the colors slowly, as I mentioned before. And the thing I did here with Eon is that I started with like really light yellows, and then I'm working towards reds as I go on with the drawing. And I just want to create this kind of effect for her to look very red, like her skin. That's something that I do with all of illustrations with Eon. I like making her look kind of reddish because she has like long beautiful green hair, and green and red, I don't know if you know this, but they're like opposites in the color wheel, and they look really nice together when you kind of just know what you're doing. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I try my best to kind of achieve that effect. I guess since we are here, I could just talk about like my OCs a little bit more. I think someone else actually commented on that, like they wanted to know more about my OCs. So yeah, it's a good opportunity. The OC that I'm drawing today, Eon. Like Eon is the Earth goddess. I have this story in my head that only exists in my head and nowhere else. And the story is like where my like 90% of my OCs are from that one story, Eon included. And she's the Earth goddess in a world where like the world is kind of divided in different kingdoms, and there's like 5 kingdoms in total: Earth, Fire, Water. I'm forgetting my own story. Earth, Fire, Water, wind, like air, not wind, and sun and moon. So like the world is divided in these 5 kingdoms, and Eon is the Earth goddess and also the Earth kingdom kind of queen or like ruler in a way. And all the elemental goddesses, like all the elemental queens and princesses and everything like that, they're kind of like related. They are all sisters. So yeah. And the thing about like Eon, even though she's called the Earth goddess, she kind of is more of a life things goddess. She's not really like Earth as in sand and all that stuff. Like that is more related to the fire goddess. The fire goddess is kind of like responsible for that part, but Eon is kind of like living things like animals, plants. Well, only animals and plants. At the time when I created this story, I kind of didn't consider any of the other animal, like any of the other living thing kingdoms as being living things like fungi, bacteria, and everything like that. So she's kind of the queen of everything that is plants and animals. Everything else is not included. So right now what you're seeing me doing here is just painting her like Eon's hair. And the thing about Eon's hair that I like doing is I always like to start kind of like this. It's yellow. It's kind of like a lime-ish yellow color. I like to start with that, and then on top of that I'll just apply blue, which is like a really nice thing with color pencils is they're kind of like transparent. You don't need to have all the colors, or you don't need to use all the colors in order to achieve what you want. You can just layer your way into the colors that you want. And what you're doing here is, since I started with the yellow, now that I'm applying the blue, it's becoming green. So it's like a really nice thing, and the darker the blue, the darker the green I'll achieve. And that's pretty much what I'll be doing towards me painting. Is it painting? Like drawing her hair. So yeah. One fun thing about Eon is like her hair, like the red parts of her hair, used to be at the very tips of the hair, and I switched it to be in the middle because I think I saw an art, like someone's art. I don't remember exactly who. Maybe it was Sol Rojo. I don't remember. If I find it, I'll put it here. But if I don't, I don't know. And she did kind of like a green color here, and she put the red in the middle. And I thought that was so cool. And I decided to switch Eon's design to do that. Instead of having the red parts at the very bottom of her hair, kind of like just kind of going, it's kind of ombre look, kind of like just fading towards the red. I kind of just switched around. Instead of the red being at the tip, is in the middle, like as if I cut her hair in middle and then I switched it like upside down. That's exactly like, that's pretty much what happened. And I really like what, like the effect that it gives, because it kind of makes you look towards your hair. It's like, I'm here, look at me. And I really like that. But yeah, another fun fact about Eon's hair, since we are on the subject, is that her hair changes according to temperature and also her mood. And that's something that I also created because I realized that I couldn't really keep any consistency in the greens that I was using for her hair back on the like days that I used to draw her digitally. Every time I draw her, like if you notice, it's a different green. So instead of just making everything cohesive, I kind of just came up with that idea for her hair to change. So the reason why you find different colors of green across all my illustrations of Eon is because she kind of does that. It's kind of like her thing. And her color, like her hair color, will change from like this new leaf light green, almost yellowish color, all the way to kind of dry leaf dead brownish color. But that's like very rare. For her to be in that stage, she has to be like extremely ill, like kind of really sick or very injured, and I don't think that ever happens in the story. At this stage of me drawing her hair, I realized that I was kind of losing myself a little bit with the tones there, so I decided to pull some colors to help me guide the tone back towards the direction that I wanted, kind of like this aqua green that you saw me using, and also later I'll be pulling yellow and a little bit of pink as well, adding to the hair. And that's something that I pay a lot of attention. Usually when I start drawing, like when I start an illustration, I have an idea in mind and I kind of go towards that idea. I don't know if it makes any sense, but like I already know where I'm going before I start, and I think that kind of helps with you not losing yourself too much when you're drawing, kind of like an anchor of some sorts. Right now what you're seeing me doing here is kind of just adding back the shadows that got lost in my, like when I was just adding all those layers, just adding the orange and blue back, and also adding some few like hair strings here and there, kind of making everything pretty. And of course, there is no way I would forget about the little stars, my favorite step when I'm finishing everything. And also some highlights. I use gel pens here. First I started with kind of like a cream-ish kind of beige color, and then I decided that I'm just going to be using white. And I think I also used a little bit of green as well. So what you're seeing me doing here right now is because I thought the values weren't there yet, I decided to just pull out some of my water-based markers to kind of add a little bit to the line arts, like the dark parts, a little bit to make it have a little more contrast, and also some orange to add to like the red parts over here as well, and also the lips, a little bit in the shadows, just to add a little bit of that contrast. So here is the final one, the final illustration. What do you guys think? I really like this one, like it's really pretty, really nice. So yeah, if you saw something you like, please don't forget to leave a like, maybe even subscribe, wink wink, and see you on my next video. Bye!